पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Harihi Om. I welcome you all for this 10th session of Kaivalyopanishad, which is organized by Shri Swami Prem Puri Ashram in Mumbai. This is an Antargata, this is under Shri Daya Smriti Gita Chintanmala, and there is so much background work done by Shri Prakash ji and Shri Dubey ji for the successful transmission. This is like seeing this online event from far during these times of Corona. Is like Sanjaya showing the Mahabharata war through to Dhritarashtra, when he is Sanjaya having the drishti, having the divine drishti, and making our Dhritarashtra narrating the Mahabharata to Dhritarashtra, like that. The special drishti, Sanjaya's drishti, you're all getting because of all the technical work which is going behind these transmissions. So we were looking at the sloka, which is Punascha Janmantara Karma Yogat Saiva Jiva Swapiti Prabuddha Puratraye Kridati Yascha Jiva Jiva Tatastu Jatam Sakalam Vichitram. This is the sloka we covered, and what is remaining is the Shankaranji's Tika is remaining. What does the Tika say? So first of all, this sloka, just a quick translation. Again, because of the deeds done in the past, because of Pap Punya, the Jiva comes back. He wakes up or comes back either to the, he wakes up, or the Jiva also gets to the dream condition from the Sushupti, because Sushupti is a very happy situation. From there we have to find out what makes the Jiva come out of it, and it is one's own Papa and Punya, one's own Karma. And we're going to see. So if you don't remember the connections which I gave last time, don't worry. Once we see the Tika, everything will be so clear to you. The being who sports in the three cities. What is the Puratraye Kridati Yascha Jivaha? So this person, he sports, which is the translation for Kridati, which means he is reveling, he is experiencing in the three bodies and in the three avasthas. So he wakes up and gets into this three avasthas. He wakes up and he is taking abhimana of his sthula and sukshma sharira and conducts all his affairs. And from whom when he conducts all his affairs, then it is also, and from where the entire varied diversity has sprung up. So all the differences, all the diversities, everything which we experience in the waking world has come forth because of our karma. But even before everything, fundamentally we wake up every day because of our karma. We wake up from the tamobhibhuta sukarupa, tama abhibhuta sukarupa, which was sukarupa sushupti avastha, the tama abhibhuta, the ignorance, the avarana, the sushupti avastha with so much avarana, we come out of it just because of our karma, and then because of our karma we create whatnot, in this Jagat. Now, the Anandagiri Tika is Punascha Anandatma Swarupam, Anandatma Swarupam, Sushupti Avastha. The Punascha, then he wakes up, the same person wakes up who was in Sushupti Avastha, who has obtained the Ananda Swarupa in Sushupti. He wakes up, Prapya, Bhuyaha api, again, why does he wake up? Janmantara Karma Yogat. Janmantara Karma Yogat, he wakes up. And so he wakes up because of all the varied karmas and all that karmas which is ready to fructify for the next day wakes him up. And what happens in the pralaya, just like Shushupti, this jiva goes back to unmanifest. The jiva does not get destroyed, he goes back to unmanifest, and in the Sushupti avastha, in the pralaya, and even from pralaya to come back and take up to sukshma and stula sharira, the jiva's the reason why he comes out of pralaya as a new being, it's also because of karma. So because of karma, jiva comes out of the pralaya from the unmanifest. Because of the karma, papa punya, the jiva comes out, jiva takes a new birth, and because of the same karma, the prarabdha karma, for that day, the jiva wakes up from the previous day. So, prag bhaviya karmanusarat, based on that prarabdha karma, anusara, in line with that, sayeva, wahi aayega, the same person, anandatma swarupam praptayeva, the one who has been experiencing ananda, sukha in the sushuptam gataha na to anyaha. So it is the same person. Because in the sushupti avastha, all the vikshepa is gone. All the projections are gone. So only avidya is remaining. We said that, right? Only avarana is remaining. So the question would be asked, if it is a swarupa avarana, if it is the avidya of one swarupa, that we all have, everyone has this avidya of swarupa until exception or the Mahatmas or the Brahmanishtas, except the wise person, all of the others, they have this Swarupa Ajnana. So when they all sleep or they all going back to the same Ajnana, Avastha, so if that is the case, why would they wake up as different individuals? Why would they wake up as different a person? Suppose if you take a kamandala, if you take the kamandala with water and then a special water, say a kamandala with special water, and you dip it in a river, in Gangaji, then what happens is the kamandala water disappears or it becomes so diluted, and when you pick up the kamandala back from the river Gangaji, from our Ganga Mata, then what you would have in the kamandala would be a common water, and there won't be any Vishesha of that water other than the Vishesha of that being Ganga water. So if you take another kamandala and dip, the water between these two kamandalas would be the same, right? So that being the case, how these different jivas, they sleep and then wake up, and when they wake up, they come as a different being. So how does that happen? So that happens because this kamandala, when you dip in Ganga water, if the kamandala is closed, then the water inside the kamandal will remain intact even after you dip and pick it up back, right? So likewise, So that is the same person who is coming back. The individuality is maintained because of the karma. The individuality, the karma is a lid, and they make sure that you come back as the same person and not as a different person, or not as a common person. It's not the kind of a mixture and taking something out of the mixture. So jiva pranadha anyah na anyah jiva pranavadharakah swapiti swapna avasthanam gacchati. So from the deep sleep, either he comes to swapna avastha, same person. So in swapna avastha, he would be seeing his dreams based on his vasana, based on his special punya papa, which can fructify only in the dream. And sushupti avasthanam gacchati sushupti avasthanat athava prabuddha prabodham, or he wakes up. Prabuddha means he wakes up. You see in the sloka, sayeva jivaha swapiti prabuddha, he wakes up. And he wakes up and athava prabuddha prabodham jagaranam praptah bhavati iti seshah. Idanim jiva brahmanoho aikyamaha. So very important. This is about the person who is taking into these three avasthas. But what is the aikya? What is the swarupa of this jiva? So far it has been something which we have been very familiar with. Waking up, sleeping, dreaming and all that, right? So, idanim jiva brahmanoho aikyamaha. Aikyam. What is aikya? Puratraye sthula sukshma puratraye, that word, that third line, puratraye kridati yascha jivaha. Puratraye sthula sukshma ajnanakye shariratraye kridati viharati yascha jivaha. So this person who is enjoying or is experiencing these three avasthas, he is the same. The person has been enjoying these avasthas, same person dreams, same person goes into deep sleep, same person wakes up. So these avasthas are not creating parichinna on the jiva. Avasthas, avasthatita, the jiva is avastha atita. He is playfully entering and exiting all these three avasthas. So he is avasthatita, he is beyond all the avasthas. He experiences the avastha in and through, and he is also beyond these three avasthas, that he is able to shred off one avastha and take up another avastha, like a sportsman. A sportsman takes a disposition and that position, different position in the game. Likewise, he is taking different avasthas and coming out of it very successfully is coming out of it, right? So this is then what happens, these avasthas and the antakarana, mind and body and your senses which are involved in the avasthas or which are not involved in the avasthas, these become your upadhi. They are there with you, but they don't restrict you. They don't bind you down to just one avastha. They don't have that capacity. So they are instruments in your hands. Upadhi, they are the instruments over which you have the command. So this is about yourself being upadhi atita. Okay, so it is like, say, the mirror. Sunlight is there, and if there is a small mirror, the small mirror is like a small upadhi. The small mirror will reflect the sunlight so much. Whereas a large mirror, it will reflect the sunlight even more, right? So the sunlight itself, the reflections are actually sometimes more brighter than the sun itself. And these upadhis are reflecting, and the sun itself is not affected. The sun takes different upadhis, and then sun is reflecting different upadhis, but the sun itself is unaffected. If the upadhi is destroyed, that doesn't mean the sunlight is destroyed, right? Sunlight is not destroyed. The upadhis come and go. Upadhis take different form and shape. A huge upadhi would be like the upadhi of Bhagavan, Ishvara, out of which there will be so much prakasha, so much jnana, so much shakti, so much compassion, so much justice. Everything comes out of so much power to create the whole thing. Everything can come, and that is upadhi bheda. In the upadhi wise, jiva ishvara bheda is true. When it comes to nirupadhi, when it comes to reality, it is the same. A spark of fire, like the lighter which we use to light the gas, it only produces a spark of fire, but it is still fire. Okay, we cannot take it lightly. That spark of fire, we cannot take that spark lightly because it can create the entire huge conflagration or whatever they say, right? The forest fires are created, the huge forest fire, the mother of the huge forest fire. Who is the mother of the forest fire? It is not a fire which is bigger than the forest. The mother of the forest fire would be a small spark that was generated when two dry twigs were rubbing against each other in the forest in a dry condition. So what I'm trying to say there is no dvaita between the spark and the huge fire in the forest. There is no dvaita. There is no dvida. Dvida is not there. They both are fire. In their swarupa, they are the same. So that is how your swarupa, your krida, you are playing in all these three avasthas. You are reveling in all these avasthas, but you are not restricted by these avasthas. Just like the spark is not restricted by its form being a small spark. People say all this, right? Everybody is like a spark, speck in the upadhi of Ishvara. We are all speck, we are all anga. All this they use. But then Swarupa wise, Advaita says, upadhi wise there's difference, but the Swarupa which matters more. As you see how the Swarupa of the little fire between rubbing of two branches is enough to create the whole fire. So Swarupa matters. Swarupataha Jiva Brahma Aikya is a reality. Okay? Because Brahman is infinite. Brahman cannot be infinite and limitless and exclude you. So we cannot say that the Brahman is so infinite. It is limitless. How can I be that limitlessness? Am I not insulting the limitlessness of Brahman by saying my Swarupa is Brahman? People have all this argument. And we say the other way. We say, if you say that Brahman is limitless, and if you say that it does not, that limitlessness does not include your Swarupa, and that limitlessness is away from your Swarupa, if you exclude yourself from that limitlessness, that is when you are actually insulting the limitlessness of the Brahman. By excluding you, by saying that I am just a jiva, I am a dasa, I am a speck of speck, I am a small dirt in the feet of Brahman. So all this bhava is good for bhakti, so that you get the ekagrata towards Ishvara and your antakarana is getting some vairagya. It is all true, it is right. But don't make Advaita look wrong, because then you are only denying your own Swarupa. Okay, we want you to enjoy your Swarupa and we want you to expand your antakarana, so you have that Sarvatma Bhava. You don't have any Taratamya between Jiva and even between different Devatas, and you really have that Paramananda Prapti. That is the goal which we are trying to. We are not against any Bhava, any attitude, we are not against any Parichinata for the sake of devotion and all that. That we are not worried about it. So we want you to also spend some time analyzing your Swarupa. Alright? So, idanim jiva brahmanoho aikyamaha puratraye sthula sukshma ajnana kevi. I read this already. Shariratraye kiridati viharati yascha jivaha. Jiva is vihara, is sporting in all this three avasthas. Chakara yevakarartaha. That jiva only is, that jiva who is in swarupataha Brahman, he is only reveling in all these three conditions. Prasiddha paramatmaikya pranadharakaha. So prasiddha, it has been already told about the aikya of this Paramatma with this pranadharaha jivaha. And I have explained that in so many words also just now. Tataha cha tatastu tasmadeva jiva bhinnaha na tu anyaha. Jiva abhinnaha. So the abhinnata is there. Bhinnata, parichinnata is the dosha. Abhinnata is the jnana. So the dosha or the antakarana, the ashuddhata, see how kind Advaita Tattva is. It is the ashuddhata. It is not telling the ashuddhata is your papa and etc. etc. We are saying the ashuddhata, it is just the parichinnata. The separation is the ashuddhata. The bhinna bhava is the ashuddhata, and abhinnata is your swarupa. Tasmat jatam utpannam sakalam. Jatam word is right. Tatastu jatam sakalam vichitram. Tasmatu jatam utpannam sakalam nikilam. Sakalam, what is the word? Nikilam. What does it mean? Vichitram. Vividha karmanam vividha karma nama rupam vishwam. So this vishwam, the vividham is all those different karmas of different individuals all coming together and creating this vichitra srishti, vividha karma nama rupam. Everything is nama rupam. Nama rupa kriya. Nama rupa kriya. Swarupataha brahmaiva satyam. Whereas when it comes to Jagat, there is a vividata, there is the differences in terms of nama, rupa and kriya, and that is all because of all the karma of all the jivas. So now, that being the case, we will glide into the next sloka. This Brahma which you are saying as Jiva, how is the Jagat Janma, this is Brahman which is now presented as Jiva, as the Swarupa of Jiva in the last few slokas, how is the Jagat Janmadi ka Karan kaisa hai? How is it the Karanam for the Jagat Janmadi? So we saw the Karana as Ajnana and all that, but in the next two slokas, how is Brahman itself is a Karanam. Even if you say Ajnana, that Ajnana, Ashraya is also Brahman. So how is Brahman the Karanam for the creation, the cause for the creation? For that, the next sloka is there. Adharam anandam akhanda bodham yasmin layam yati puratrayancha. Adhara rupena karanam. It is the cause in terms of adharam, adhishtanam. Here adharam can be taken as adhishtanam. Adhishtanam is it is that which is really there, over which so much projections have happened. So much projections has happened, like the Rajju. Adhisthana is Rajju, rope, and over the rope, so the projection of snake, the projection of streak of water, the projection of whatnot, everything has happened, right? So Adhara Rupena, here Adhara should be taken as Adhisthana Rupena. It is the cause. Then Adharam, then Anandam. Adharam, Anandam. Anandam is Purna, Paripurna, Ananda Swarupam. What is this Adhisthana? This Adhisthana itself, which is the cause in a way, we'll see how it is, of the entire creation. And this Adhishtanataya Karana, that Karana is Ananda Swarupam. There's no, if you know the rope, there's no fear. There's only fun. If you know the rope, there's no fear, it's only fun. If you know even the child would, like a child, you can play with the rope. If you show a child a snake, first it's scared, and then if you show that it is not, it is plastic, or if it is made of wood, then the child would start playing with it, right? So it's Ananda Rupam. Then Ananda is also, as I told you, Swarupanandam. Swarupanandam is what? Vijnanam. So Akhanda Bodham. See, Ananda should be immediately followed by Akhanda Bodham, Bodhanandam. Pratyaka Bodhanandam. Our Swamiji, who's Brahmalina, his name is Pratyak Bodhanandam. So the Ananda is an outcome of Bodha. Bodha of Pratyaka. Pratyaka. Bodha of your innermost, your reality. Who you are in reality. Your Antaryami. Yourself being in reality, not separate from the Antaryami. So this is the Ananda which is based on the Bodha, Akhanda Bodha. Bodha is Akhanda Bodha. The Akhandata it is, Nirantara. It is in terms of Nitya Bodha. Our Swami Pratyek Bodhanji's name, when he was Brahmchari, was Nitya Bodha. So they used to call him Nitya Bodha Chaitanya. Nitya Bodha. So it is Akhanda because it is Nitya. How is it Nitya? Kuch nahi. So the Nitya means it is, see, Nitya is because, I'm looking at the clock. See, I'm looking at the clock right in front of me. So I see clock, but the clocks, the Antakarana, my mind itself would take the form, take the vritti of the clock. So the clock I see, and then the mind, if I can use the word mind, takes the shape of the clock. So mind itself won't know it is clock. It has now taken the shape of the clock. And that's all the Antakarana can do. But I should say what? I am seeing the clock. Or, so how does that happen? Then the Sakshi, as Sakshi, I illumine the Antakarana, and Antakarana is able to say, I see the clock. The Sakshi is what? If I can say, Sakshi is making you say, I know the clock. So what is Sakshi? Sakshi is nothing but I know. Knowing. This knowing is Sakshi. Then it says, knowing the clock, I am knowing the clock, I knowing the clock, I knowing a part, I knowing, I am knowing, I am of the nature of knowing. So this knowing, is it Nitya or Anitya? You tell me. It is Nitya. It is Khanda or Akhanda? It is Akhanda. It is there forever. You may not be able to say once someone dies, he may not be able to say that. Why? Because there is no avayava to say, but this I know, it is Nairantarya Jnanam. That is why it is Akhanda Bodham. In this Akhanda Bodham, Yasmin, Jisme, okay, then Yasmin Layam. So Yasmin Layam. So for the Laya also, see the Adharam, Anandam, Akhanda Bodham is the Karanam, is the cause we said. But for the Laya of the snake, where does it become Laya? Where does it resolve? It resolves in the same rope. Once you know that what we see is the rope, right? So the Laya also happens right there. And so the Laya, all the Karya, all the effects, their Laya also happens in the Karana, the cause. Here the cause is in the form of the Adhisthana, Adhara, Brahman. So Laya also, Laya B, there is a Adhisthana as a reason cause for the Laya also. Alright, so but this Swarupataya, we should understand this Brahman is a cause in terms of the Adhisthana. But it is asprishta, and it is not affected by its creation. Whatever we create, like a snake and whatnot, it doesn't affect the rope. It's a Swarupa, the ropes. Swarupa remains as harmless, useful, sturdy rope. Likewise, Brahman remains Sat, Chit, Ananda Swarupa, and the creation is very, of everything created, being the Karana for the creation is very incidental. It's like a Tatastha. That is why it is called an incidental attribute on Brahman. The Brahman being the Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, Karana is incidental. Whereas what is intrinsic? It is intrinsically Sat, Chit, Ananda. It is Lakshana of Brahman is Sat, Chit, Ananda, whereas the incidental attribute or incidental attribute in the sense incidental cause, it is incidentally the cause for the creation. Just like on the Ganga will be flowing, and on the shores of Ganga, different people will be coming and going, right? So that is why it is called Tatastha Lakshana. Tata is on the shores. Different things can happen while the Ganga is still flowing. So like a crow sitting on someone's house, if someone is asking, where is the house of so-and-so? And this other person is saying, the house of so-and-so is, you see that house where the crow is sitting, that is his house. And when this guy is walking towards the house, when this person is walking towards the house, the crow might fly away. So the crow is incidentally helping to understand that house, to get to the lakshya of the house. So likewise, Janmadhyasya Brahman is just an incidental cause for the creation, but it is in reality in the terms of being the Adhisthana. Alright, so that is the thing which I want to say before I get into the Tika, before I get into the commentary of this. So what the entire Puratrayam Layam, the entire Puratraya which we have been seeing, where this person is reveling, that Puratraya becomes Laya, this time not in Sushupti, but it is Laya. The Laya happens in the Adharam itself, which is Adhisthana Rupataya Brahman. So let's see the commentary of Shankaranji. Adhara Rajjuriva Sarpa Dhara Bali Varda Mutritatva Dehe Adhar Rajjuhu Adhara Bhutam Sarpa Dhara. So he is giving on the Adhara, Adhara is what? It's like the Rajju. He is giving an example of Rajju for us to understand what is Adhara. And then on the Rajju, on the rope, what happens? Sarpa, we imagine snake and Danda and Mala. and whatnot, all because of Bhranti, all because of ignorance we project all those things. But what is the rope itself is a cause in terms of being the Adhara only, okay, Adhisthana. But the rope is required. The rope is required for the creation. I mean, the Adhisthana, the Adhara is required for the creation, and without the Adhara there is no creation, right? And but what is created is based on our ignorance. So it is saying even like a Bali mutra tattvadehe. So like you can imagine even on that rope, someone is imagining a streak of water, and someone is saying a bull might have passed by, and the bull might have urinated there. The bull might have urinated just there, and that the urine is flowing, and the bull has passed by. So what kind of wild imaginations, wild guesses this Bhranti can make us do, right? Sakalasya Vishwasya Adhara Bhutam Anandam. Adhara Bhutam, this is Adhara, it is of the nature of Adhara, and it is also Anandam. The word Anandam is there. Anandam. What is the Anandam here? Niratishaya Ananda Swarupam. Niratishaya Ananda Swarupam. Not Satishaya. Satishaya means what? It is, Satishaya Ananda is Vishyananda. Ananda is obtained out of an object. So the Ananda which someone experiences from objects, it is Satishaya, and then there is always a Taratamya. The same coffee which I took last week was better than this coffee, whatnot. The Taratamya, Ananda based on the Taratamya, which makes you not enjoy what is in your hands also. So that is a Vishyananda. Here it is Niratishaya Ananda, Mukhya Ananda. It is and it's Nityanandam also. The Niratishaya Ananda, Nirvishesha Ananda is what? Nirvishaya Ananda is what? It is Nitya, because it doesn't depend on objects outside. It's a Nitya Ananda also. So it is not dependent. That is what is called Anapeksha Ananda. Okay, so Ananda, Nirvishaya Ananda Swarupam, Akhanda Bodham, Ananda Rupatve Api. So Ananda Rupatve Api Akhanda Bodham. So because, see, we saw in the last sloka, there was also Ananda, experience of Ananda, where there is no Bodha. In the Sushupti there is no Bodha, there is only Ajnana, there is only Avarana. That there the Ananda was experienced as Sukha. But here, this Ananda is because of Akhanda Bodham. This is what we want. Ananda because of the Bodha of Akhandata of your Swarupa. Right? Ananda because of the Bodha, because of the teaching, because of the learning, because of the studying, because of the Shravana of Akhandata, of the limitlessness of your self. Limitlessness, which is yourself. That kind of Aikya Bodha, that kind of a Aikya Akhanda Bodha. And so Api Swayam Prakashakatva Swayam Prakashaikya Swabhavam. Swayam Prakashaikya Swabhavam. So this is also there. Swayam Prakashaikya Swabhavam Dhrik Swarupam. Yasmin. This is our Swarupa. We are not an object of someone's subjectification. We are the subject, we are the dhrika, we are the drashta, able to, and everything else is in the drishya koti. Everything else is in the drishya koti. If you want to go to a certain loka, Brahma loka, Shiva loka, Goloka, you are actually throwing that loka in the drishya koti, and you want to be that drika who is able to enjoy that drishya koti. You have been always the drika. So you want to remain the drika. You don't want to know that you are drika in reality, and then you want to enjoy the drishya koti all the time. We are saying you would make a better job of that once you know your Swarupa as Drik. You are the Drik Swarupa. And Swayam Prakashakatvena, self-revealing. You're self-revealing. And so you reveal everything else. You are self-evident, self-revealing, and because of you, everything else is revealed. All the objects are revealed. Idantaya, you are able to experience, you are able to say, this is that this is pot, this is cart, this is mat. Everything you are able to say because of the Swaprakasha, that Namarupa gets the meaningfulness because of you able to say this is this and that is that. So Layam Vinasham Yati. Then what else is there reminding in the Tika? It is Yasmin Akhanda Bodhe Layam. In that Bodha, Akhanda Bodhe Layam Vinasham Yati Gacchati. So what does Yati Gacchati? What becomes Laya? Puratrayam, the Puratraya. In that your Akhanda Bodha, everything is within your consciousness, within your awareness. Suppose if someone says, people should not confuse the Swarupa, Chit Swarupa as Antakarana. Because when we say everything is within your awareness, within your consciousness, people say, I don't know Russian, I don't know French, I don't know that language, that is not within my consciousness, that is not within my awareness. That you don't know French is within your awareness. That is why you seek to know French, right? And your seeking and learning, everything happens within your awareness. It happens in your Antakarana. Your Antakarana is able to say, it's able to have the proper vritti, proper thought process in terms of learning French or Russian or whatnot, Sanskrit for example. And but then it is all possible because everything the possibility is made because you being Akhanda Bodha Swarupa. As I told you, I Sat, I Ananda, but then I am in reality, I am knowing. I am knowing French, I am knowing Russian, I am knowing. Without this I am knowing, me being of the nature of knowing, without this, the knowing of anything is not possible. So that way, everything is laya, everything gets resolved in the yourself being Yasmin Akhandananda Bodhe Layam Vinasham Yati Gacchati. So all the thoughts come from even a mantra Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. It comes from silence and resolves into silence. To make it more proper, it comes from your awareness and resolves into your awareness. Yourself being Akhanda Bodha, it resolves everything, all thoughts. All the Puratrayam, all that you experience, because all the experience is experienced in terms of a vritti, in the Antakarana, and it resolves into that Akhanda Bodham, which is even eliminating the Antakarana. Cha Shabdate Anyadapi. So the Cha Shabda Puratrayancha is there. It means just a Puratraya, Avastatraya, Sthula Sukshma, Karana, Shariratrayam, and all this Triputi, known, knower, known, and knowing. So to know any object, we should be the knower, and the object should be the known, and then the process, the way we can know it is called knowing. So everything resolves into yourself being the Akhanda Swarupa, Akhanda Bodha Swarupa. All right. So we have, we can go for one more shloka today. Yetasmad jayate pranaha. Srishti is continuing. manas sarvendriyani cha kam va yujyotirapascha prithvi vishvasya dharini. Then the translation for this verse is, from this is born the life force, the mind, all organs, space, air, fire, water, and the earth that supports all. So, continuation of Shri. Etasmat. So, from this, what is this Etasmat? Etasmat is Puratrayadi Adhishthanat, from the Adhisthana only. From the Adhara, which we are told in the previous sloka, which we took as Adhisthana, from that only everything is born. How is everything born? How is everything born? See, when you say something goes laya, in that, say if you break a piece of bangle into several pieces, and can we say that the bangle has gone back to gold? We can say that, right? The bangle has gone back to gold. Likewise, so the Puratraya ka laya, wherever it happens, from there only. The Puratraya laya was told in the last sloka, where the laya happens, from that only jayate, Etasmat is where the Puratraya became laya. Jayate is born, pranaha, the Shakti. What is prana? Prana is a Shakti. It is a Kriya Shakti. Then manaha. Mana is Jnana Shakti. Then Sarvendriya, because of this Shakti of prana and mana, Sarvendriyani, all the Jnana Indriyas and Karma Indriyas. 5 Jnana Indriyas and 5 Karma Indriyas. We did the list of these Indriyas. All of them are born. Sarvendriyani cha. Then Kam is what? Akasha, the space. Vayuhu, air. We saw prana in the last line, and then here it's Vayuhu, the samashti. So from the Vyashti, the samashti is born. From the individual, from the subtle, all the gross is born. So here the Vyashti will be the subtle creation, and then the gross creation is come, the entire space, entire cosmos, Vayuhu, all the air around us, Jyotihi, the light, then Apaha, waters, Prithvi, this earth. And what does this earth do? Vishvasya Dharini. It supports the Visheshana for the earth is, it is the one which is supporting everything. And where is this earth? This earth which is supporting everything, this heavy piece of earth, which has got so many items, which also weigh so much, with all the human beings who weigh so much, all this entire planet, where is it sitting? It is sitting in Akasha, which is weightless. So the planet which is with its entire weight is floating in Akasha, which is weightless, right? So, etasmat puratraya adhishthanat. So, I am looking into the commentary section here. Etasmat puratraya adhishthanat. Puratraya ka adhishthanam kaho. What is this adhisthana here? Buddhi drashtuhu. So, this adhisthana is what we saw. It is Akhanda Bodham is the adhisthana. Akhanda Bodha is the adhisthana. Because we saw in the previous sloka, Akhanda Bodha and Ananda Swarupa Adha. That is the Adharam we saw that, right? Akhanda Bodha is the adhisthana. How is that? Buddhi drashtuhu. Let us see. Puratrayadhishthanat buddhehe drashtuhu jayate. Buddhehe drashtuhu jayate utpadyate pranaha. So that creation from the Swarupa, which is Chaitanya, it is indirect creation. This creation of prana, manaha, sarvendriyani, this is all not directly, not sakshat, it is indirectly created, because you see from the buddhi, the sukshma, the aham, as we told, the karma and buddhi, they are all the cause for the creation of the sukshma panchabhuta. Sukshma level, the panchabhuta, that in the level of vasana, in the level of ichcha, sukshma panchabhuta will be created, and then the sthula panchabhuta will follow. So that is how puratraya adhishthanaat buddhehe drashtuhu. Then the one who is the swayam prakasha, who is even illumining the buddhi, from that only utpadyate pranaha, kriya shaktihi. Pranaha utpadyate, from that adhishthana chaitanya. Then manaha antakaranam jnana shaktihi, also from that only. Antakaranam jnana shakti is also from that. Antakarana jnana shakti. Then sarvendriyani cha, sarva jnana karma indriyani. Sarva jnana karma indriyani also. Cha shabdat dehadi also. So including all these physical bodies, all the beings, all the shariras of all the beings. Kham navaha shabda gunavat. The space, entire space is all created from this akhanda bodham, which we saw in the previous sloka, which is the adhishthana. Jyotihi, then before Jyotihi, Vayuhu, Nabhaswan, the Vayu, which is Sanchara, which is going around in space, it is also created from this only. Jyotihi, Tejo Dhatuhu, all the Jyoti, all the luminaries, sun, moon, and everything. Apaha, Nirani, all the waters of rivers and oceans and whatnot. Prithvi Bhumihi, Prithvi is what? Bhumihi, Vishwasya, Nikhilasya. Nikhilasya means Akhilasya, Sthavara Jangamatmakasya, all the Jada and Chetana, all the moving and movables and immovables, all that the Prithvi is doing, it is holding. Pranijatasya Dharini, Vishwasya Dharini. So now, how is this possible? How is this everything is possible when the Brahman, which we say, it is Niravayava, right? The Brahman is Niravayava. It doesn't have any attributes. It is of the nature of Sat, Chit, Ananda, without any other attributes. These are only its Swarupa Lakshana. It is formless. Niravayava means formless. How can all the forms be born out of the formless? Right? How can that be born? So when you are dreaming, for example, all the forms are born, right? They are also born out of your formless Chaitanya. As a Sakshi, you are enlightening all the dream objects. Sakshi is what? Swaprakasha. Sakshi is the one which is throwing light on all the dream objects, in spite of the dream itself happening in the night time when there is no light. So the light creates all the objects, light up all the objects, right? So and then it looks real to you. In swapna kala, swapna avastha, swapna kale, everything looks as real as in the jagrata avastha. So what is the highlight? The highlight is the reality. If you pump in some reality, if you throw some reality, even what is not real will look real. Even what is not solid will look solid. All the dream objects, mountains and whatnot, they are not solid. They don't have any material in them. They are the only material which makes them look as mountain and whatnot is just light. Your self-revealing light. So it is possible. So dreams shows the possibility of the creation from Akhandananda Bodha. Right? So that shows the possibility. Then in the Jagrata Avastha, how about Jagrata Avastha? Jagrata Avastha also, the wonderful creation of snake and whatnot, snake and all that is possible on something where it is not there, the Adhisthana. Just like in light, there were no objects and there were so many objects created and they all look real. They didn't look like, there are some, we don't dream and think that we are watching something out of light and it is not real, and we don't enjoy that way. We enjoy all the objects. Only thing which we don't enjoy is, or only thing which we are ignorant is the fact that it is a dream, right? So likewise, so this is all showing the possibility. All these models are showing the possibility of such a creation, and that is why we say Brahman with the help of Maya. Maya is not a vastu. Maya is just to say there is no vastutaha, the creation. There is only Brahman. Vastutaha, it's only Advitiya. That is why the word Maya is used, which some of them say Ya Ma Sa Maya. What is not in reality. Maya itself is as a cause that itself has its enlightenment, has its Shakti from the Akhandananda Adhisthana only. So it's not vastavik to say that we use the word Maya. Then why are you talking all this Brahman as being the cause and everything, but finally to say that it is all Maya? No, we didn't say it is all Maya. So Brahman, we'll go back to the example of Rajju and Sarpa, in that the Rajju, the rope, without undergoing any change is the cause. Being the Adhisthana, it is a cause. So Brahman is also a cause without undergoing any change. That is your Swarupa. Your Swarupa without undergoing any change has caused the entire Akasha and whatnot, Akashadi, Mana, Buddhi, Ahankara, everything included. How is this? Because it is possible. Parinama, one is called Parinama Karana and other one is called Vivarta Karana. So this Rajju rope without undergoing a change, being the cause for snake and whatnot, so that changeless cause is called Vivarta Upadana Karana. Upadana means material. So rope is the material which is taken to be the snake. So it is a changeless, the material without undergoing change has given the material for this person to think that the material is snake. So this is Vivarta Upadana Karana. And then there is also Parinama Upadana Karana. Parinama is undergoing change. Sometimes when the milk becomes yogurt or curd, that is the Parinama. The Parinama has happened. It has lent itself to, the milk has totally changed to curd. Whereas in the rope snake example, the rope has not changed. That is how Brahman has been creating, is a cause for the entire creation. So this being the case, Brahman, how does it create? By lending its Satya, Satyatva. Like in the dream also, the Satta is lent, the Satta is borrowed, and everything looked real. So does this Satta, that it is real, that is enough to make everything look real. So that Satta, that is Brahma, that is the Satta of Brahman. The Spurta, the Spurana is the Spurana of Brahman. Because the Karya is not away from the Karana. Karya is not away from the Karana. Even if you break the gold amulet into several pieces, it is still gold. You cannot say the amulet has gone away from being gold, right? So Karya is not away from Karana. And so that way, the Ananyata is there. The Karya is always Ananyata. It is always the Antargata. Ananyata is there with the Karana. It is not different, like the clay is not, the pot is not different from the clay. So the Prithvi is a Karya, and Prithvi is a Karya, say from the Apaha, water. So Prithvi is not different from what its Karana, water. The water can do a laya into its Karana of Tejaha. The Teja, all three, Prithvi, Jala and Teja, can have its Karana in the Vayu. And Prithvi, Jala, Teja, Vayu can have its karana in Akasha. And Akasha is weightless, formless. So from the formless Akasha, all the form has come. So Akasha itself is a Karya, and the Adhisthana Karana for Akasha itself is Brahman, it's your Swarupa. So from the formless, all the forms can come. That is possible. Just the formless reality has to lend its reality, and every form would look real. So that is how the Srishti is possible from Brahman. From the formless, all the form. Pujya Swamiji also says, from the potless clay, the pot comes. From the shapeless clay, all the shapes, different shapes come. So please be aware. Please expand your understanding that from the formless, all the forms can come. So what is this Aikyata with the formless, which is our reality, which is our Swarupa? It's all because of it's all possible because of the Mahavakya Bodha. And that Bodha, Akhanda Bodha is possible when we understand the Mahavakyas. How that is possible, we'll see in the next session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.